so we're going to be watching a video today from the notorious racist Republican Trump supporter Graham Allen. Now this video is very funny to me just because of how much propaganda and how much hypocrisy is displayed in the video. Let's go ahead and just take a look here. So as you guys know, recently a small white child by the name of Hinnant, excuse me if I mispronounced the name there, but this small child was murdered by somebody. Happened to be a black male. And before we begin the video here, reacting to Mr. Graham's response, I just want to say my condolences to the family of Hinnant. I mean, what happened to this small child was tragic. It was terrible. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. This is a terrible thing that happened here. You know, my condolences, 100%. It was a terrible thing that happened here, and you know, we should be honoring this. You know, with that being said, here, Mr. Graham Allen has a lot of selective outrage when it comes to the deaths of certain people. And we're going to go ahead and watch what he has to say about the death of this small child here in comparison with his beliefs in regards to Black Lives Matter. So let's go ahead and take a look here and see what he has to say, and we'll try to break it down piece by piece. Now, he has a lot to say, folks, so be prepared. So without further ado, let's take a look at what Mr. Allen has to say.
All right, guys. So this is one of those videos that I don't want to have to make. I woke up today furious and disgusted and heartbroken about a story of tragedy that is getting absolutely zero media coverage and attention.
That's wrong, by the way.
A 5-year-old boy named Cannon was shot in cold blood on his bicycle in front of his sisters by a grown man named Darius. I'm not going to talk about what the color of these two individuals are. You can see by the pictures here of what's going on. Here's what I want to talk about. Where is the outrage? How dare you? How dare every single one of you say his name? All you George Floyd activists, all you people that claim that you care about lives and this and that. No.
So we're going to pause it right there. So number one, he claims that there was zero media coverage regarding this subject for Cannon's death, but that's a complete lie. A complete lie. And that's verifiable if we actually look up Cannon's name here on Google. We can actually see CNN. So first off, let me just clarify by saying this was posted 2 days ago from Graham Allen. So it is fair to say one can make the argument that the mainstream media didn't really cover this until after the social media was blowing up about it. But if we actually take a look at the media coverage regarding the situation, CNN themselves 20 hours ago, about a day ago, they reported on this, talking about how a 25-year-old man was charged with the shooting of Cannon. USA Today also reported on it not long ago. The Washington Post also covered it. And if we look over, if we look at the Times, we can look that at some point. Oh, let me see if I can find it, because I did see something about it later on. Here it is. So the Wilson Times actually did report on this 4 days ago, back on August 10th, about a family mourning a 5-year-old's death. There was also a report about ABC also covering this. Let me see if I can actually find that. 2 days ago, ABC 11 covered it. He meant the world to me. The family of friends honored the life of Cannon Hinnant, the 5-year-old boy who was shot and killed while riding a bike. NBC also reported on this. I mean, there's a lot of different things reporting on this, and the Washington Examiner falsely claimed that there were zero results for reports regarding the subject. Complete lie. The ABC 11 was reporting on this 4 days ago. I mean, there has been mainstream media coverage regarding this subject. So for Graham Allen here to sit here and lie by saying that there's been zero coverage of the subject, complete and total fabrication. And again, somebody could make the argument that it did take a little bit longer than usual for the mainstream media to pick up on the subject. I can agree with that, sure, absolutely. That's a legitimate criticism. However, how come it took 74 days for the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery to be arrested? 74 days. And conservatives still like to pretend like, oh, well, you know what, it happens. They're instrumental when it comes to that sort of thing. But when it comes to a little white boy, it took more than a day for the mainstream media to report on that. Oh, they're up in arms about it, just like Graham Allen. Why don't they show the same energy? Well, I can think of one reason. Can you? Let's continue.
You only claim about lives when it fits your agenda. Whereas those of us who have been claiming all lives matter from the very beginning, we're the ones in the right. Because
Except the people that are part of the All Lives Matter crowd have been shitting on Black Lives Matter constantly, trying to make it seem like their movement is not important. Like, hey, listen, all lives matter. Black lives are just as important in the United States of America as all other lives. Completely ignoring the statistics relating to why black lives are not treated equally in America. All lives matter, but not all lives are treated equally. That's for damn sure. If you look at the statistics, we can clearly see that. Incarceration, prosecution, crimes. Black lives are not equal in America, folks. And any conservative that tries to tell you otherwise is lying to you. That's a simple fact. Anybody that has seen the empirical data regarding the matter can tell you that. And anybody that tries to say otherwise, they're either being dishonest or they're just racist. Or both. The two go hand in hand after all, right?
Black Lives Matter. Where's Black Lives Matter to come out and say that this is unacceptable?
I have not seen one Black Lives Matter advocate say that this was not that this was acceptable, that this was not unacceptable. Okay, nobody is going to go out there and justify the murder of any child, white or black. Nobody is going to do that. The reason why Graham Allen is trying to make this a race issue, even though he said he wasn't going to make this a race issue, is because, well, it's safe to assume Graham Allen is a little bit of a racist himself. He doesn't actually care about black lives. He doesn't care about all lives. He's doing this for political gain. Because it benefits his narrative, which is ironic considering that he's trying to call out leftists and the Black Lives Matter movement for trying to promote their own agenda and ignoring the death of Cant and Hinnant because it doesn't fit their narrative. Well, Graham, how come you weren't so open and vocal about the death of George Floyd? How come you weren't so open and vocal about the death of Ahmaud Arbery, even though it took 74 days for his killers to be arrested? How come you weren't so vocal then?
To hurt a child is the most heinous thing imaginable, and there is not no major news outlet, period, nothing.
Once again, completely incorrect.
It's justice for Cannon. We're the protest in the streets. What if white people formulate protests out in the streets? Are we going to get arrested, or are we going to fall underneath the coronavirus doesn't affect protesting laws?
Two things to address there. Number one, him addressing the coronavirus laws, a complete straw man. What he's referring to is a study that was done, a meta-analysis that was done, concluding that protesters who were protesting for Black Lives Matter and rioting didn't actually contribute in the rise of COVID-19 cases. And that was done based off of over 300 cities in America. So that's a complete straw man right there. Number two, he has the right to do that. White people do have the right to do that. White people have the right to go out and protest. The problem is that most conservatives and right-wingers don't have the energy, they don't have the balls, They can't do those things. They don't want to do those things. They're not interested in actually creating change in the country. They don't care. They like the status quo. They want things to be the way they are, so people like Graham Allen can make his living shitting on people like people who support Black Lives Matter, but then going along with this pro-white narrative saying, well, what about the white lives, huh? What happened to them? How come they don't matter? Complete straw man, complete fallacy. This guy is full of shit. On top of that, let's look at it case by case. So with George Floyd, the reason why there were so many protests was because there was a person in a position of power, a police officer, who killed this person. That's why there were so many protests. It was to call for action towards police brutality, to try to fight against things like that, for racial discrimination in America. The person that killed Canon Hinnant, within a 24-hour time span, that person was a victim of a nationwide manhunt. He was found, he was caught, he was jailed without bond, okay? Justice was served. And that guy's probably going to go to prison for the rest of his life, rightfully so. We can agree on that. If only the police were held to that same standard. In other words, there was no need for a protest. Justice was served. But if we look at Ahmaud Arbery, 74 days took for his murderers to be arrested. Breonna Taylor, killed in her own home. Still, her murderers haven't been brought to justice. Once again, folks, all lives do matter, indeed. But not all lives are treated equally. No need for a protest when justice is served, right? That's what Mr. Graham Allen fails to realize, it seems.
Imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine if a white grown man had walked up to a black 5-year-old boy on his bicycle, shot him in the head.
That's happened. Now, maybe the details that he's describing, maybe not. But we've seen cops shoot little black boys because they were holding a toy gun. Graham Allen doesn't talk about that, though. We've seen it happen, Mr. Graham. We don't need to imagine it. We don't need to pretend if the roles were reversed. The roles have been reversed for decades, and we've seen the outcomes.
In cold blood in front of his sisters, who will be traumatized for the rest of their lives. It would be bigger news than Kamala Harris being named vice president nominee. It would be the only thing that we're talking about. There would be more riots in the streets. There would be burning buildings. There would be attacks. There would be assaults. There would be calls to defund the police.
I mean, that's already happening, though.
The real problem in this country is not racism between people.
Hold on. It's not racism between people. I know what he's going to say here. He's going to say it's the media. The media is the real problem. They're the ones that are dividing us, right? It's the media. They're responsible for everything. The left lib-cuck media. That's what he's going to say. I guarantee it.
That's not the problem. The problem in this country is that the media decides what life is important and what life isn't. This child, this baby, had a future. This baby deserves to be able to ride his bike down a street without some sycophantic psychopath piece of human garbage.
Oh, you know you wanted to say the N-word there. This sycophantic, psychopathic N-word! You know he wanted to say the N-word there. You know it. Oh my God, he was holding his tongue back so hard there.
Coming up and shooting him straight in the face in front of his family. Where are you? Where is the outrage? Why is this not viral? Why is this not everywhere? Why is there no cries for justice for Cannon?
Once again, justice has been served regarding Canon Hinnant, my friend. Mr. Graham, have you not been paying attention? Within a 24-hour time span, they caught him on a nationwide manhunt, charged him with first-degree murder. He's dealing with potentially life in prison. He's dealing with the justice, my friend. And if you look at this, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this video on Facebook that I'm watching right now from Graham Allen has 128,000 reacts to it. Most of them are likes, sad reacts, and angry reacts. Most people are outraged by this story. This has already gone viral before you posted this video. There was already mainstream coverage of this issue before you posted this video, my friend. Is there more coverage now? Sure, yeah, absolutely. But there was coverage beforehand. You're not saying anything significant. You're not saying anything substantive. Dude, what are you mad about?
Explain yourself, you hypocrites. Every single one of you. Me too. I didn't know anything about it till today. So here I am asking the questions. Where is the justice for Cannon?
That's your own fault. Your own fault, dude. You just can't keep up. Sorry.
It's sickening, is what it is. And right now, I am ashamed of the state that we find ourselves in America.
Me too. For different reasons.
His life mattered just as much as George Floyd's, just as much.
Nobody is disputing that whatsoever. Nobody is disputing that whatsoever. We can acknowledge tragedies regardless of skin color, my friend. We can mourn the death of Cannon Hinnant while also protesting for Black Lives Matter. We can do that, Graham. I know you probably don't want to, because you're paid to do the complete opposite. You don't care about equality. You don't. You pretend to, and that's the thing, folks. Don't fall for these grifts. Don't fall for it. People like Graham and all the other conservatives who claim to care about black lives when it's convenient for them, that's the funniest part. They love to talk about how, well, everyone's equal in America. What's the problem? They love to do that. And whenever people try to create a movement, when they try to make an uprising, whenever they try to go against the status quo and the establishment, then the conservatives want to say, well, you know what? What about black on black crime? Huh? Black people don't even care about themselves, so why should we? It's all a grift, folks. They only care about black lives when it's convenient for them. In other words, they don't really care about black lives. It's all political propaganda and a political agenda for them. They'll never understand the struggle. Why would they? They've never dealt with it. But now a white boy dies. Now all of a sudden, now we need to take action. Don't fall for the grift, folks. These people are evil. They're racist. They don't care about you. They really don't. They'll take your misery, they'll take your suffering, and try to twist the agenda completely to fit their own.
Just Rashard Brooks. His life mattered. And unlike all those other people who were adults, this is a child, an innocent child who did nothing, murdered in cold blood. Silence. Shame on every single one of you. You all make me sick. You mainstream media outlets, you make me sick. All lives matter. Period. Black Lives Matter is a leftist terrorist organization on lie. All they do is seek.
Okay, so the rest of this video is pretty much just him virtue signaling. Folks, again, don't fall for this crap, okay? Fake outrage is what this is. Selective outrage is what this is. When Black Lives Matter protesters go out there on the streets, they need to calm down. They need to tone it down. All lives matter. What are you doing? White boy dies. Where's the outrage, huh? Where's the media coverage for this? Even though they're completely wrong about all of that, there was media coverage regarding this, and there was no need to protest. That's all there is to it. They're trying to trick you, folks. They're trying to make you believe that there's some sort of conspiratorial narrative against white people. These people are evil. They're monsters. They don't care. They're not human. Remember that. Don't ever fall for this crap. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. I know I went off a bit of a tangent there. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to discuss. The mother of this child actually made a Facebook post, Bonnie Waddell, and she said, quote unquote, "Now that my sweet baby angel has been laid to rest, it's time for me to stand up with Candle's voice like I always have been, blah, 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 blah." So let's take a look. Here she says, "This has absolutely nothing to do with race, and do not compare this to Floyd." George Floyd, that is. "My sweet Cannon never saw color. He loved everybody. He was innocent, loving," okay? All right. And there's just a bunch of feel-good stuff there. But the mother herself is telling you, shut the fuck up. So if the mother is telling you to shut the fuck up, you should probably shut the fuck up. Just a thought. Alright, folks, thank you so much for watching here. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. Thank you once again, folks. I'll be posting this on YouTube pretty soon, so hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful night, okay? Take it easy. Bye.